Hello and welcome to VCC TV. This is Joseph Ryan. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi shocked the nation last year with his decision to withdraw high-value currency notes, we knew that its effects could reverberate even several months down the line. Now, to take the stack of demonetization's effects on the economy and the various sectors, we have with us Aman Malik, Senior Assistant Editor.
Hi, Joseph.
Now let us begin by talking about the effects of demonetization on the economy as a whole. Now, when demonetization was announced, there were fears that a huge portion of the GDP could be shaved off, but that was not to be so.
Right.
What could be the reason?
See, when Modi demonetized the currency and the government demonetized currency on 8th November, a large part of your economy is cash-intensive economy. So, if you just look at the RBI's own figures, although I don't agree with those figures, as much as 78% of consumer payments are done by cash. Most of your rural economy is cash-based economy. So therefore, when this thing happened, there were fears and realistic fears that a large part of the economy could just simply come to a standstill, which also did happen. Yeah, this is not to say that it did not happen. Value chains, supply chains broke down. There was a shortage of labor in the short term, etc. But what happened was that sectors actually kept performing as they were. So, for instance, if you look at the agriculture sector, the rabi sowing was actually more than significantly than in the last year. So that kind of saved the day, if you will. There were various other factors also. So what happened was that, say for instance, if you talk of say FMCG or consumer goods, there was a bit of an impact initially for the first couple of months when there was actual shortage of cash. But later, as cash started coming into the system, it kind of, those sectors kind of rebounded, if you will, and growth picked up. It did not happen for all the sectors, but for a majority of the sectors, there was a blip. So GDP growth went down. It went down from the quarterly growth numbers I'm talking about, went down from about 7.1 to 7%. There were fears that it would go down to 6.7%, etc., but that actually did not happen.
Yeah. And the real estate sector was expected to be the hardest hit. So, what are the effects on it? And also, I would like to understand its effect on the auto sector.
Real estate sector was actually very hardly hit. Very hard hit, I'm sorry. See, what happened was, real estate sector, it is a well-known fact that about 30% of every transaction that happens in India in the secondary market, I'm not talking about the primary market here, secondary market is in cash. So typically if you go to buy a house, say let's assume the house is of 1 crore, typically 30% of that, or about 30 lakh rupees, changes hands in cash, and the rest doesn't in non-cash via check, etc. When cash sort of completely ceased to be, if you will, all those transactions came to a sudden halt. Even deals that were midway could not be honored. So therefore, the secondary market came crashing down, and also what happened was there was anyway an inventory overhang, yes, in the sector. So that inventory sort of stayed there, and that overhang, actually it added to the overhang. The auto sector was also very badly hit, especially the two-wheeler market, which comprises the bulk of the auto sector. It went down by more than half if you look at the December numbers. But then as cash started coming in, the auto sector started bouncing back. Having said that, and as did the real estate sector to some extent, having said that, there is a lag effect in both these sectors. You see, what happens is once they go down so badly, to come up, it takes much longer. So while the auto sector has rebounded much better, it's still not near its levels where it was in October. The real estate sector is actually way below those levels, and I think it will take another at least 6 months or so for the real estate sector to sort of rebound fully.
Thank you so much, Anna, for those insights, and that's all we have in this edition of VCC TV. Thank you for watching us.